I'm going to take some rocks and boil them. I'll put as many in there as I can. I'm going to show you a little trick on how to dry your wet boots and socks, gloves while you're out in the woods. You want to make sure you use rocks found on dry land and not near a body of water or in water. Rocks in a stream or river have had many years to soak up water deep inside of the rock, and they could explode if heated up. After the rocks boil for about 10 or 15 minutes, I'll take them out. Since the rocks are hot, the water will evaporate off of them pretty quick. By boiling the rocks instead of putting them directly on the fire, that will ensure that they don't get too hot so they don't melt your boots or burn your clothes. I'll put the rocks in this sock for even more protection, then I'll stuff it in my boot. Then I'll put some in my gloves. The heat from the rocks will dry out the insides of them. Then I'll set them somewhat close to my fire so that the outsides will dry as well. Just not too close to your fire. You don't want them to burn or get too hot and dry too fast. If it's cold out, you can also take this sock full of rocks and stuff it in your jacket. It'll keep you nice and warm. Just make sure it's a clean sock unless you want to smell really bad.
Oh, that's very interesting because that's how I used to dry my school uniform. Good vibes. Oh, yeah.
Well, here's something that might change how you see the world. This is what an owl's wing looks like to you. This is what an owl's wing looks like to another owl. You already know that some birds are very brightly colored so that they can show off to potential mates. But then you have other birds like owls that are brown or gray and kind of blend in with the trees, presumably so that prey cannot see them. But if you take certain owls and shine a UV light on their feathers, suddenly it lights up hot pink. It appears that certain birds have evolved to make themselves invisible to certain other animals, but still be brightly colored for potential mates. Obviously, those other birds do not need a UV light. Their eyes, unlike ours, can perceive the ultraviolet spectrum. They basically can see in a fourth primary color. And here's where I have to point out that I kind of lied at the start. I said that this is how other owls see it. In reality, we can't imagine what they're seeing. We can't see that spectrum of light. They used hot pink just for illustration purposes so that we can see it. But in terms of what other owls are seeing, remember that perceiving color doesn't just come down to the structure of the eyes, but also how the brain interprets it. It's probably literally impossible to ever show you how these birds actually see each other. They're living in a whole different world.
Oh, that's very interesting, man. What?
Okay. Like, give me like a ha 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 ha. Go. Ha 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 ha.
What?
Gallon of water will illuminate.
Oh. Oh, this is pretty interesting, man. All these hacks. This guy is a very good guy. He shares all these hacks with us here, and it's so amazing. Much love to you if you're watching and you've watched up to this far. You are respected and loved. You see, just these videos, you see how people live in different parts of the world, and it's very interesting. Like, you can tell us where you're watching from, and I love you all, guys. Please spread love and forgiveness to the world out there. This is a very amazing guy because and an awesome soul, because sharing this information, trying things that doesn't other people's mind, and he saves you the hassle. This is so good. Good vibes to him and all those guys out there that are all about good vibes, man. Huh. You see, like myself, I just learned something here. Huh.
Listen up, y'all. This video may trigger you and it may offend you, but this is not the reason why I'm making this video. This man above me, his name is Bill Donahue. He was a pastor for over 20 years and ended up finding out the hidden meanings in the Bible through an awakening that he had. And the way he breaks down the Bible requires zero faith. He breaks it down in such a logical fashion that if you have a logical mindset and you're a believer in God like myself, but just miss me with the bullshit of these churches that are taking your money, telling you to give them tithing, well, I'm here to tell you, all that shit is a scam and it's bullshit. Tap in and listen why.
The Bible was not written by people from Pittsburgh. The Bible was written by the ancient Eastern people, and they knew numerology. They dwelled in the numbers of the zodiac. They dwelled in all various numbers that had meanings. Let me give you a quick rundown so you get an idea what I'm talking about. Hidden meanings. The number 1 means God, the Logos. The number 2 means body and soul, you and God. The number 3 means new life, resurrection, a new beginning. Jesus was in the tomb 3 days. Jonah was in the whale 3 days. The number 4 means your fourfold nature: physical, spiritual, intellectual, emotional. Okay? The number 5 means mediation. It also means sacrifice. I'm going to show you that a little later. The number 6 means doctrines, laws, religion. Don't you remember when Jesus turned water into wine? Water can mean on the lower level emotionalism. He turned water into wine. How many jars of water did it say he turned into wine? 6. In other words, he was turning the religion of the letter into that which is the movement of the divine essence of the Spirit. That's what it means, changing water into wine. Number 7 means divine intervention. Joshua walked around Jericho how many times? 7. And the walls came tumbling down. 7 means divine intervention. There are 7 nerve centers, or 7 chakras that rise from the base of the spine to the top, which are the 7 levels which a person walks in order to find that which is the pineal or enlightenment. It's all part of the Bible. It's all part of the ancient wisdom which is covered up in numbers. That's why a lot of your religious teachers, and you see them on TV, and they make such a terrible mistake. You know what they do? They go and say, well, there's going to be 7 years of tribulation. It doesn't mean that. The number 7 means divine intervention. What that means is when tribulation comes to your life, God will intervene on your behalf. It doesn't mean that God is going to send 7 years of terror. It means that God will intervene when the struggle comes against you. That's what 7 years of tribulation means. Divine intervention is 7. Number 8 means rupture, separation. Number 9 means the human consciousness. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Number 10 means completion. And the number of perfection in Hebrew is 12, which corresponds to the most ancient zodiac. Okay? Let's take a look at the number 9. And I'll show you how you can get all fouled up if you don't understand these numbers. It's just like, you've heard these teachers teaching all the time. It's going to be 7 years of tribulation. It doesn't mean that. If God is love, would he send you 7 years of hell? Like they say? No, it means he will intercede. Look at the number 9. The numerical value to the word Adam in Hebrew in the ancient scriptures is 9. Everything had a numerical value, and that's why there is such mystery in the ancient scriptures, because they use numbers to deceive people who tried to think intellectually. You know what you're doing? You know what we're doing? We're reading the Bible intellectually in the same way as if you and I said, let's go shoot the bull, and then somebody said, oh, they're going out and kill an animal. That's because they read us literally. They didn't read us symbolically. We're not going to go out and kill an animal. We're going to have a conversation. I said to your boy, you really spilled the beans. Well, they said, that must be some ritual. They're going to go out and get a broom and sweep up the beans. You don't have to sweep up any beans. It just means you talked out of turn. He shot his mouth off. Pow! No, he didn't. It just means he said something he shouldn't have said. He's off the wall. Where's the wall? No, he's not. It means that he's strange. He's different. And you can think of thousands of symbolic verses that you use, and the Bible is filled with them, and yet you take it literally. That's how stupid we are. That's why you've got all of this in this country, in religion and fear and in misunderstanding and in suicides and all of this violence right in the middle of religion, because religion is teaching you literally what was intended to be taken symbolically. Oh, hey, you know yourself. You've read the story of Abraham and Sarah. She was 100 years old or something and had a baby, and you're taking this literally. It's not a literal story at all. It's an allegory. How do I know it? Look up Galatians 4:24. The Apostle Paul says the story of Abraham and Sarah. He says, which things are an allegory? It's a symbolic story. If the Bible says it, can't you even really believe that? Galatians 4:24. But let's take a look at the number 9. The number 9 means Adam. Adam means earth. The earth means your flesh, your mind, your emotions, you know, the ego, the macho, the I will do what I think and all this kind of business, okay? So when you use that number 9, it starts to reveal a lot of things to you, okay? If you look in the Bible, you'll see many references to 3.5. Or 42 months, 3.5 years, 42 months. That all comes out to 9. Let me show you how. You'll see it as 42 months. You'll see it as 3.5 years. You'll see it as 1,260 days. Because 3.5 years is 6 months. Okay, is 3 years and 6 months. That's 42 months. You take 42 times 30, you get 1,260. Okay? Now when you add 1, 2, and 6, you get 9. That's the number of human consciousness. That's the Bible's way of hiding from the literal and the intellectual, spiritual, significant, deep mysteries that come out of the times of Egypt and Chaldea. They deliberately did this to hide from the profane people the powers that are in the inner consciousness, because they didn't want literal people getting a hold of these mysteries and using them for their own good or to raise money the way these evangelists and TV people do. Okay, this isn't for that. This should not cost you a dime. I'll give you a symbol. Tithing. How much money have these people made taking 10% out of your pocket? Tithing has nothing whatsoever to do with money. It's symbolic. It's a hidden myth. And what it means is you have 10% of you that is the carnal mind. 10% of you is the left side. It is the negative side. It is the carnal mind. 90% of you is the right hemisphere, which is dormant. God is saying to you, give me that 10%. Give me your ego. Give me your flesh. Give me your will. Through meditation, shut off the thoughts of the mind. You shut off the 10%, which is you. You turn on the right hemisphere, which is the 90%, which is him. You have tithed. Don't give... No, I'm not going to say, but you shouldn't give anybody 10% of anything. You should give God that 10%, which is you, by shutting off your ego and rising up into a high, beautiful consciousness with God. That's what tithing really means, giving God yourself, the 10%, the negative left side, the carnal, intellectual side. Now, let's look at the number 9. Like I said, we were going to look at the number 9. 3.5 months, 3.5 years, 42 months, they all equate to 1,260 days. If you look through the book of Revelation, you'll see all kinds of references to 3.5, 42, 1,260. They all add up to 9. So now when you have that key, that the number 9 means human consciousness, you can solve some riddles. You can solve the identity of the beast. Who is the beast? 666. Okay? Who is 666? This is the way you have to do it if you understand Eastern mysticism that wrote that. You take 6 plus 6 equals 12 plus 6 equals 18. Now you have 1, 8, 1 plus 8 equals 9. The identity of the beast is you and me, our lower carnal mind. It's the beast that rapes. It's the beast that makes wars. All of these horrible things that you read about every day in your newspaper and see every day on your television. And we can look at the beast by going into our bathroom, turning on the light, and there's a picture of the beast right over your sink. It is your lower mind. It is that part of you that threatens you, that part of you that convinces you you're not going to make it past tomorrow, that part of you that says, well, everything's okay now, but what are you going to do if, and what are you going to say when you meet so-and-so next week, and all of the stuff that keeps you rattling and shaking and all of those things within.
What would happen if two consciousnesses shared one brain? This is the question I asked myself after I learned that we were successfully able to transfer brain organoids into the brain of a mouse, and it was able to integrate and work. But we already know that the brain organoids have some degree of intelligence, or sentience as some researchers wanted to call it, and they have their own brain waves, which are similar to delta brain waves, which are what you experience during deep sleep. If they have a consciousness, what happens? Well, to answer my initial question, I looked to conjoined twins. These girls are Christina and Tatiana Hogan, and there's some really cool documentaries about them, but they're connected at the brain, and sorry, I blinked that out. The brain structures that they share include the thalamus, which is the sensory relay organ of your brain. As a result, they can see out of each other's eyes and experience sensations that the other one feels. In one of the documentaries, they said that one of the girls likes ketchup and the other one hates it and gets irritated when the other eats it. The girls should be about 16 now, but they've dropped off of the face of the public sphere. But last I heard, they were doing just fine. They're able to walk, they're able to function, and they're able to go to school. They are, however, absolutely inseparable. While both of them are fully functional little girls, separating them could end all of that. So this is their life. But I have read that most conjoined twins don't actually want to be separated.
Are you going to be part of the problem or part of the solution?
I'm going to be the whole problem. This. Look at this. Is this white?
We're talking about...
Is this white?
We're talking about skin color.
I don't care. Is this white?
We're talking about skin color.
I don't care. Tell me your question.
Your skin
is it
color
white?
is white.
No, it's not. This is
not
white.
That white. That's an object. We're talking about skin color.
This is the same color.
You're white.
This is the option.
So what you think you are? You think what color are you?
I'm peach.
Bro.
Stupid.
Don't call me stupid.
Pull over, Daddy.
Because, well, I was driving and I wanted to be, your question was very interesting to Daddy, and Daddy wanted to pull over so he could properly hear it. So could you ask me that question?
What does it mean whenever somebody says it's colder than a witch's tit out here?
Okay, so yeah, no, I definitely heard what you said. Colder than a witch's tit. What that means is it's just really cold outside. That's basically it. It just means that it's really cold outside, and it's just a phrase that people use sometimes.
What is a witch's tit?
Sorry, I don't... I think there's a bug flew in my throat. It's just... You know what a witch is?
Yeah.
Okay, so, like, it's a witch. And, you know, okay, a boob. Mm-hmm. Okay, tit is like a different word for boob, but we just don't really use that word, generally speaking. Okay? Alright, so, it's just, I don't know why it's a phrase, but it is. But, yeah, we're not going to use that phrase, okay? Okay. Alright.
Okay, Derek.
Hey, Mom, I'm here to celebrate the death of Nana. She died today.
What kind of idiot celebrates the passing of someone else?
Mom, she was a terrible person. She was 104 years old, and she was a racist.
She was not a racist. She was born in, like, 1920, and everybody was like that back then.
Wait, so everybody that was born in the 20s were born without hearts?
Well, you know, she did employ a bunch of black people and gave them a lot of opportunities.
Did you hear what you just said? Come on.
I believe that she was friends with all of them, too.
Mom, listen, the whole family's going out tonight to celebrate. You should come.
Jesus Christ, this whole family is going to hell.
Just Nana.
I found at the thrift store. Okay, so I know it's a newer radio that's made to look old, but I just really love the aesthetic, right? So cute. But I was confused because there's like this slot on the side and it says tape, and I thought that's really weird. Like, why would you want to store your tape in the radio? And I was like, well, maybe if it was on your desk, like back in the old day, maybe you wanted like to get tape from it. But then I thought that obviously that doesn't make sense. That's stupid. So I was like, oh, it's probably for one of those old iPod things, because my mom had one of those. You probably stick the iPod in there and then it plays to the speaker. To be sure, so I asked one of the employees what it was for, and she said tape, and I said, what kind of tape goes in a radio? And she said, a tape with music. And I said, okay. And she said it was called a cassette tape, and I don't know why I was saying that. I think probably after the person who invented it. But I was like, do you have any cassette tapes here? And she said, no, we don't sell them, because usually we like throw them away because no one buys them. So I went to another thrift store, and look what I found! Cassette tapes! I don't think I know any of these bands though, like Rush, The Clash, UB40. Well, I think New Kids is like BTS, but like really back in the day. This one says Cocktail, but like, is that Tom Cruise? Was he in a band? Okay, tell me which cassette tape we should try first.
Oh, wait. What's surprising? Oh, is that funny to see people using cassette? Ah, yeah. Oh my god, you see here, that's what we use here when my father owns one and he's very proud to have it. What? Oh, what's happening here? Is this the spirit of a little girl or... Oh my god. What? Did you say it?
是假的呀，还谁瞅这样啊？别拽了，别拽了。
到底是真的还是假的？
真的假的？
猜看，
是假的。
真的？
是假的，不是，是假的。漂亮吗？
漂亮
可以。不漂亮。Oh my god, she sees one smile is so priceless.
他那躺卧得多长时间呢？能够插一？
你多长时间打理一下的？
你可以你待多长时间都可以。
像假的，是假的啊？是吧？你觉得是假的？为什么？我看不像是真的。你看他那个。
Oh, you mean that doesn't look like real hair? That looks pretty normal to me. Oh, very real. Oh my god. Huh. What's this?
Y'all wouldn't believe what I found out. See how this say authorized King James Version? We got a problem. This say 66 books is right here. Well, I went to go find out what King James actually authorized. This is what he authorized in 1611. Yeah, this. In 1611, when he authorized it, there was a New Testament, there was an Apocrypha, and there was an Old Testament. 80 books. How they go from Old Testament and New Testament with no Apocrypha? What that means, family, is these publishers are lying. This ain't authorized by King James. While everybody's saying it's one name under heaven to be saved by, Jesus, in 1611, wasn't nobody calling on Jesus. They was calling on Jesus in 16.
Also, check this out.
1611. Sounds like two different names can be used to be saved by. Yeah, this is 1611. Yeah, this is what King James authorized. Matthew chapter 1 verse 21. And he shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus. That's a I, E, S, and U, and S. It's just in Old English. For he shall save his people from their sins. This is what King James authorized, newly translated out of the original Greek. I heard somebody say Jehovah was his name.
See who is Jehovah, and see also below who formulated the Bible God names.
So I went to Exodus chapter 6 and verse 3. Lo and behold, Jehovah wasn't around in 1611. In fact, they said Ehovah. And you can tell due to the font that it was inserted, which means it wasn't even there for the original copy of the Hebrew to English. They do have supplements, so if you got a Holy Bible, you can go get you an Apocrypha, authorized King James Version, of course. Or you can get you the Old English, real deal Holy Bible, 1611, King James Version. And we have smaller ones too. Check out the link that I provide. Make sure y'all support a brother. This is all lowercase. Go check out the big edition and go check out the smaller edition. Link in my bio.
Please share love and good vibes and forgiveness. For you buy the Bibles.
Name an animal with 3 letters in its name.
Dog.
Dog. Cat. Bat. Rat. Ape. Fly. Bee. Pig. Hog. Hen. Eel. Ant.
Frog.
Unbelievable.
Something found in the refrigerator.
Milk.
Milk. A brand of gasoline.
Shell. Mobile.
Regular.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Something that comes with a summer storm.
Rain.
Snow.
Sounds right. All right, we're not out of the woods yet. Let's see what your brother can do.
I got good news and bad news.
It's all bad news.
Give me the bad news first.
The bad news is your brother thinks it snows in the summer and is pretty dicey on 3-letter words. Bring him back. Here we go.
Name an animal with 3 letters in its name.
Dog, cat, just say something normal.
Alligator.
Just take it and kind of just pop it out like this.
Huh? Oh yeah. Ooh. Okay. Wow. It looks so beautiful.
How did the ancient Egyptians cut granite? In the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, we find a very interesting example of an unfinished sarcophagus. On the bottom side of the sarcophagus, we can see where cutting had taken place, but it was stopped. And the cutting marks on the sarcophagus have set off all kind of debates. We can see that the ancient Egyptians stopped cutting into this particular sarcophagus because they were offline. And one of the arguments are, well, how did they get this far if they were using slow cutting tools? Surely they would have noticed the mistake early on if they were cutting it slowly rather than fast, hinting at that possibly power tools were used of some sort. But at the same time, if you take a look at the entire sarcophagus, you can see that it's not actually perfect in any way, and that possibly the tool that they were using was as wide as the sarcophagus itself. If we look at the entire surface here, we can kind of see that it's not particularly flat or flush overall, but it is smooth. Now, was the smoothness as a result of cutting or processing? As in, was it worked on later? Because we know that the ancient Egyptians worked on several phases on items all at once, and this sarcophagus is no different, because we can see that the inside was hollowed out and smoothed out before they had even fully cut it, which is interesting in itself because it lets us know that they would hollow out the stone before finishing the exterior. And if we come around to the other side, we can almost see a faint line of where perhaps the bottom should have been. Although I find this to be one of the most interesting items in the Egyptian Museum, it is actually quite hidden in the corner of one of the exhibitions. And if you didn't know it was there, you probably never see it. But do go check it out for yourself if you ever visit. Biggest finds.
Oh, you see, there is a lot of videos has passed with good information and amazing humans. It's information that some dazzles my mind and I don't understand, but good vibes only. But now there is a certain video that has passed with an English person eating oranges that looks so very perfect. I can't stop thinking about those oranges because where did they find so many perfect oranges? You see, from this side of the world, to find oranges, you find them fresh from trees. And they don't seem so perfect. Only maybe one in the whole season looks like that. And man, where did you get those? Those looks very expensive. Anyway, much love to you for watching. You are loved and respected. Much love to you. Share love and forgiveness and caring to everyone around you and the universe. Yo, hit the like button and let's keep watching.
This is for that girl with the list of reasons not to have children. Go ahead and jot this one down. I was on the couch just now, minding my own business. I was watching TV. I was happy. And then my 3-year-old walked up to me, angry that her nails were dirty and she wanted them cut. That right there should have been a red flag for me because she never wants her nails cut, okay? She fucking hates that shit. But who am I to punch a fucking gift horse in the mouth? I take the opportunity. I start cutting those little eagle claws. And as I'm cutting, I get to her thumbnail. And it's concerningly brown, but I assume that it's dirt from outside because we were outside and she tends to be a digger. So in my mind, that is dirt. Except she decides to tell me it's poop. And at first I don't believe her because I think she's just associating the color brown with poop, and I'm telling myself it's dirt. But I play into the conversation, okay? Against my better judgment, I ask her, well, where did you get poop from? A few seconds earlier, she was in the bathroom peeing. I know she didn't poop, so I wasn't concerned that she was holding her own poop or anything. No, apparently my husband or her left shit streaks on that toilet, and my 3-year-old took it upon herself to clean it. With her bare hands, she was scraping shit off the inside of a toilet bowl with her fingernails, and then she brought her shit-covered fingernails to me, and I was holding them. And I was happy. I was just watching TV, and now I had shit fingernails on and near my persons. Add that to your list.
Have you ever wondered why restaurants just give away free bread and chips? It's not generosity or an act of good hospitality. It's not to break bread or to make you feel welcome. There's actually something cynical happening, and it makes them more money. They give us free bread because it spikes our blood sugar. It makes you hungrier. They know that a glucose spike is going to do this, along with making more food harder to resist. Studies have found people are more likely to order more plus dessert when they're given a carb-rich appetizer. So that free bread isn't actually free. An average restaurant meal has over 1,200 calories, which is half your daily recommended intake. That's not including the free bread. So it either costs you more out of your wallet by ordering dessert, or it costs you a punch to your metabolic system.